guys, welcome back to my channel. Isabella here. Today is the second episode of Chat with Friends. I'm here with my friends and we're gonna have a good time talking about dating, relationship flaws, anything that has to do with relationships. So I hope you guys will stick around to this video, and if you like it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. So let's get into the discussion. Yeah.
I think the first question that you wanted to discuss was like who initiates the move in the dating process. Sean, what do you think?
Yeah, I think a man has to initiate, doesn't he? I think that's the way it is. Yeah,
I agree.
I don't agree.
You don't agree?
I do not.
You know, it's like
Actually, strongly disagree.
Really, yeah. You know, it's always known that men should be leading the whole dating thing. So I feel like, yeah, the man should initiate.
I would say even though like people are generally more progressive nowadays, there's still the expectation that the guy's gonna make the first move. It depends how confident you are really, and generally speaking, I would say like it takes a lot of guts to actually make that first move.
Yeah, but let's say I'm into you, right?
Yeah.
And I make a move on you, and then I get shut down immediately. But let's say someone who you're into makes a move on you, you see it as endearing.
Yeah.
So that's like you have to give some opening as a woman. I'm not saying like they should initiate the move, but you should give some opening as a woman, like a clear sign.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Janice said, most guys, it's the norm for guys to initiate by sending messages or texting or even calling if you give them your number if they get that far. But like I think it would be exciting for a girl to just approach the guy, like cut him some slack then and like he's relaxed. He gets a message from a girl, he's like,
dating
she's into me, like he didn't have to build up all of that gut to jump into her DM and things like that. So
okay,
that's what I feel.
How are you defining the first move? Do you mean the first move like on an online platform or
anywhere
face to face? Because it takes a lot more guts to actually do something physically and make the first move physically.
I think that's a good point. I think face to face, the guy should always just make the move. If you don't know the woman at all, like you should initiate that conversation in the beginning. But,
and if they seem like they're open to it, and if they seem like they're comfortable with you, then there's no harm in trying, right? The worst thing that's going to happen is that they say, oh, sorry, I'm not ready, like, it's too soon, or like, I'm not into you.
This touched on another topic that I think we should talk about, like the rejection.
Oh.
Yeah, like, I think every guy has experienced rejection before.
I don't even know what that is.
Exactly. Like,
What do you mean by that?
Because
What do you mean by that?
Because alright, so for me, if I like a guy and I say, hey, I like you, and at that point in his life he's not ready to be in a relationship with me or even show any kind of interest that he likes me, then I think that's rejection. But some men would argue that no, it's not rejection, it's just that they're not ready or blah blah blah. So I'm a little confused here with that term.
I don't think that's rejection.
Just like mismatch, like wrong timing.
Okay.
Wrong kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't think it's rejection. It's
Not into you, that's pretty much it, isn't it?
And you just cut
You want to hear an example?
Yes, tell me your story.
Rejection?
That's blatant.
Like where you go to the club and you have the lockers that you put your jackets in.
Yeah.
So we're putting our jackets in the locker, and we saw two girls there, and a friend of mine was like, all right, cool, let's approach these girls. Immediately goes over to the girls. This dude speaks Japanese. Immediately goes over to the girls and he's like, hey, trying to talk to them and like speak them up. And their immediate reaction was like, ha ha ha, like we will ever speak to any foreigners. That's rejection.
That's rejection.
Wow.
That's blatant rejection.
Yeah, that's blatant rejection.
Yeah, we tend to get that definitely at nightclubs and stuff like that.
Yeah, we get that in many different settings actually.
Bars.
Yeah.
That's true actually. When you say like guys have experienced rejection more than like women have,
I think the older you get, the less you care about rejection.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I used to be real sensitive to rejection was, you know, growing up.
I was hurt when
Yeah.
I got rejected.
You went home and cried.
Yeah. Shout out to Trudy.
Today, okay.
I'm joking. I'm joking. All right.
So I don't know. I went to a poetry night one time. I think this was maybe 3 or 4 years back, and there was a guy, 2 guys. They were talking, and they were like, "Why don't you approach this girl?" I was just eavesdropping, and the other guy was like, "No, I don't want to talk with any girl from my descent. That's not what I'm here in Japan for." So I overheard him, and I thought that was like, dude, that's like crazy. Like, you don't have to think that you're gonna get into her panties. It's like you just want to have conversation. It's a night where most black people are out, a lot of girls are out, and you don't really see these girls all the time. So I think it was like free conversation, and he was like, "No, I'm not into that."
Well, I guess it just comes down to intention then, because
Yeah.
like some people think that like striking up a conversation with someone randomly, the intention is that you want to go to bed with them. But I think, you know, you don't know where it's going to lead. You might end up being the best of friends. It's
Yeah.
about how the person receives it.
Yeah.
So
I
I guess
think so
making the
too.
first move,
I felt awful though. I was like, "Oh God."
it means giving off the right kind of
I was like, I am never
vibe.
coming out again because these men, this is what they're thinking. Yeah. It's like,
If I get rejected so often, so like you really get used to it.
okay.
But
Yeah.
say someone approaches you out of the blue and they just say hello. Like, do you think their intention is like friendly, or like how do you perceive that? So I think
Well-
that's really important.
All right, we're talking here in Japan, right?
Yeah.
For me,
It kind of depends on like where you are, like what kind of
I would say that I
place
That's a
you're
good
in.
point.
it
Yeah.
does
Yeah,
depend.
sure.
It
Yeah.
depends, like, because when I get stopped by black guys, it's like, okay, they know you don't have enough time to talk to them because they see you're going somewhere, and they're like, "Oh, just give me your number so I can link you up afterwards." And I'm not the number giver type person. You will never get my number unless I see you like a second or third time. So
Yeah, I actually think that's a thing for black girls here, because like one time I was out with a friend, like Harry and I, we went to Kamakura, went to the beach, and we saw this girl and she was wearing a graduation ring. So I noticed and I was like, oh, she's from Jamaica. So immediately I tried to talk to her, but then I think she thought like I was trying to make a move on her. And then like I tried to like shift it to like, oh, I'm surprised that you're Jamaican. I immediately told her that I'm Jamaican, and then she started to open up, and then I was like, oh, let's exchange line, and she was like, nah. And I was like, all right, Instagram is cool, and we exchanged Instagram. No, we're cool. We're friends.
that's interesting. It's kind of sad though because, like Jenny said, intentions. Like you don't know where this could lead. It could be
Whereas
a
you,
friend.
you genuinely
Yeah.
just wanted to point out, like, I know what that ring is.
Yeah,
I'm
because
from-
immediately I saw it, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I know that ring.
So it's, yeah, it is how you have to justify yourself when your intentions are pure. So
Oh, that's
definitely
cool.
it is tricky for guys. Maybe girls should start making the first move.
But this
That's what I
segues
think.
to another point, right?
Yeah.
So, we're all talking about like in-person meeting people, but the truth is like most people in the dating culture now meet online.
Yeah, now like COVID, everybody's on Bumble and
Yeah, Bumble,
Tinder and all
Tinder,
those
I
things.
use Tinder.
Actually,
eHarmony.
Yeah.
But even before that, I was using Bumble before that. This goes to another point. Like, have you ever slid into someone's DM that you don't know?
I have. It didn't work out, but
Like,
it wasn't
What was
successful.
the opening move? What was the opening move?
I saw this guy on Instagram. He's Jamaican, of course, and it was easier to talk to him because we're from the same cultural background. So I was talking to him like, hey, I was giving him compliments and things like that because I'm the type of person who will flirt with anybody. So, because I like this guy. And then I was talking to him like, yeah, shooting a lot of game words and all kind of things like that. And this guy was like, yeah, okay. Like his response was not even attractive. So
do you think he was playing hard to get, or do you think he just wasn't reciprocating?
he wasn't reciprocating. That's what I think. I mean, yeah, because you can tell when a guy likes you. Like, he will-
maybe he's just playing it cool.
Some people
Yeah,
like
some people just play it cool
Yeah, that's true.
in the
Yeah.
beginning because they don't want to
Yeah.
come off too like thirsty, like
Too needy.
But I was
needy,
the
yeah.
one who initiated, like, you know? I was thinking, bro, let's, like, I'm not in the country right now, but we could be friends.
Wait. Also, he was back in Jamaica.
Yeah.
Oh.
Alright.
Okay.
Okay.
Not to be a dick, but not to be a dick, but
He
like
wasn't interested.
maybe he wasn't interested because of the long
Of the
distance.
distance.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah, because it's
it's
very, like-
ridiculous.
No,
I
but
guess I would
you see,
agree.
his intentions weren't right because I'm just trying to be a friend. I'm not trying to get anything.
Yeah, but
But if you're flirting with him,
all right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think.
Well,
so.
it didn't work. I did not succeed in that one. So.
But if,
How
for
about
example,
you?
if someone that I was really interested in Australia messaged me
Mhm.
in Japan, I don't know if I would entertain it because for me it's like, what's the reality? Like, we could just message, but what's the reality of this actually eventuating into something?
You've never done long distance, right, or something?
I tried.
Because I've done long distance.
I
Shout out
tried
to
it, but it
Chewy.
didn't work. Trudy.
Yeah, long distance for me, like I don't think it works.
Well,
Yeah.
what do you
Well, I
think?
guess like if you
Yeah.
do long distance, you've got to meet them physically beforehand before you actually
All right, my
go into
story.
long distance.
I knew this guy for 15 years, and yeah, we were apart for a long time. We dated when I was in high school. It didn't work out because I thought he was stupid at that time, and then I gave him like 10 years to, be mature and all that, and was like, okay, let's try again. So he's in Jamaica, I'm in Japan. We talk like every day, but the problem was the communication. It wasn't working. We would talk, but we would not talk about interesting topics. Like, I do not like when somebody says, okay, hi, how are you? Are you okay? And then bye. That's it. That just doesn't make sense for me.
That's it.
Yeah, I need to talk about my goals, your goals, news, basketball, anything.
Something more interesting.
Yeah, something interesting, my favorite color, anything. And like, it wasn't working out. Then he moved to the States and I was trying to fix this guy. I was like, okay, let's do this. He was like, yeah, he's down. Because he knows he's getting more than what he deserves. That's what I think.
Yeah, but
Because
he's thinking that you want a relationship with him, right?
we're in a relationship.
Oh, oops. So you've done it,
Yeah,
and it didn't work for you.
it didn't work because, and like Darian said, like, once upon a time, it didn't work. The end, it's just not gonna work. I mean, for some people it might, because like in other countries like Europe, in Europe it probably worked. You have to travel borders to meet people sometimes, so they're used to that kind of thing. But with this guy, he was a bit insecure about his finances, and like he didn't think that he could meet my needs, and yeah, it just didn't work. Sadly.
It's a shame.
How about you have something to say?
Yeah, just with the whole long distance thing. Like, you're just kind of like, you're kind of living your own life in a different country, so it's kind of hard to relate to the person back home, like, you know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, I kind of feel like you probably feel a bit kind of distant to each other.
There's only so much that you can explain,
Yeah.
like what you're experiencing here.
Yeah.
Even my best friends, they ask me how are things going, and I'm like, I could be on the phone with you for hours, and I still can't, like,
Yeah.
you
Like,
still wouldn't be able to understand.
that's the thing, like, I can't relate to people like back home in Ireland, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's kind of crazy because, alright, I think what happened was that he didn't know my love language. I think that's what happened.
Wait, do you know your love language?
Yeah.
What's your love language?
Well, acts of service is at the top.
Uh-huh.
And like quality time is like number 3. And what are the others again? Touching.
Words of
Physical
affirmation.
words of affirmation is number
Physical touch and gift
two.
giving or receiving.
Gift giving for me is the last thing. Like, so I don't really need anything from you, but if you can help me with something, then
I think for him, like, the assumption was that gift giving was like a high priority. Because for
Okay.
some women, it's a thing. Do you even know your love language?
that's
Sean?
crazy though.
My love language?
Yeah.
No, I don't think he's on the quiz yet.
So I only did it because someone introduced me to it, so I did it. and now I know my love language,
What
and
is
it's
yours?
important.
It's really important.
What is yours?
right? It seems really lame from
That's
the
between
outset,
me
but
and my partner.
actually,
You and your partner.
we did
But
the
friends can
quiz
actually
without-
know how to communicate with you if you tell us your love language.
Yeah, it's actually for friends. It's for all relationships.
Yeah.
Friends and like lovers.
Yeah.
Or like partners.
Mm-hmm.
It's good for all relationships, right?
The top two
Mm-hmm.
were really high. We were
Yeah.
over 40%.
Mm-hmm.
It was physical touch, not in any order. Physical touch and acts of service.
I like acts of service, like, cause for me, yeah, if you can help me with something, like, I feel that is like your time. You're putting effort into doing something that you think I would like. So I like that. And with that ex guy, I don't remember his name right now, but I asked him to do something. I was having the event, Artem and Artsy, last year, and he was like, "What can I do to help?" I was like, "Get me a playlist." That is the easiest thing anybody can do. Even my great grandmother could get a playlist.
Mine couldn't, but yeah. It's not hard. It's not hard. to
It's
do
not
that.
hard,
It's
that's what
not
I'm
hard.
trying to say. And like, I was like, okay, where's the playlist? I don't like repeating myself, so I was like, where's the playlist? And he was like, I'll give it to you soon. And then like, closer to the event, I was like, oh, where's the playlist? But I had asked somebody else already to get it done. But like, even now, it's not done. And I'm like, those are the things that I value, so it wouldn't work.
I think it's enough to ask for something and then for them not to just like deliver and you have to ask again. That is definitely like a red flag.
Exactly.
It's like they're
oh
not
my god.
reciprocating.
This brings me to another thought. Like, so we're talking about relationships, but what if we're like friends with benefits? Like, are there like different rules that you establish before when you're having like a friend with benefit?
Well, at first I wasn't establishing any rules. Yeah, with FWB, friends with benefits, for me it was just like, oh, let's hang out, whatever happens, happens. But what I find is that I got myself into situations where I was wanting more from this guy. I mean, yeah, they're all nice and handsome and sexy or whatever, physically attractive. But yeah, it's like I ended up being the one who always wants more. Because until you like get into the mindset of a man, you will never really understand what he wants.
With friends with benefits, I think you need to have consent with the
That's a good point.
friends with benefits. So, like, if you're like gonna talk to your friends about, okay, I'm like with this girl, and we're friends with benefits, But like, if you tell your friends that, like, I don't know, like your friends with benefits might not like that, like, you know what I mean?
You want to be able to set boundaries as to like who knows.
Like, who knows? Yeah, basically.
Well, I think you have to like be honest. Be honest with yourself.
Yeah, be honest with yourself.
With yourself and with the person. Like, yeah, tell them like, okay, so this is what we are. We are friends with benefits. Spell it out.
The problem is,
And
like you
then-
said, there's always going to be one person that develops stronger feelings. Like most of the time, that's what happens. So I think the most important thing is to be honest about that. So if someone actually does
Need more.
they want something deeper, they should be open about it instead of dwelling on it, and instead of like just letting things stay as they are, because inevitably one person's gonna feel like, oh, okay, like I can sense this person's developing this, but they haven't physically said anything, so it just, you kind of feel a bit more detached, whereas the other person is getting more attached. So if they say something, then you can actually talk about it and just be like, well, this is how it is.
Okay.
And it's not
It's
gonna
interesting
be-
that you say like at least one person, or it's inevitable that one person gets attached. Like research show like once you're friends with benefits with someone, both people start developing feelings for that person.
Yeah, you spend time with this person.
Yeah, like research, Friends with Benefits, the movie, Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis, No Strings Attached.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Well, isn't that lucky
I love that
though?
movie.
People on the same page, then it's going to be, it's just a win-win. But most of the time, one person isn't looking for a relationship and the other person starts
Catching feelings.
And like, jealousy grow as well. If you're seeing, like, seeing someone else, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Of course, because like your phone could be like pinging with a message over there, and I'm
Yeah.
like, so what's her name?
Trudy.
Trudy.
So that kind of
Why is
boundary,
Trudy
that kind
texting
of boundary
you,
as well,
or, you know,
as in
you
like
see-
what.
Mm-hmm. You
Like,
see a sexy
use your
photo and you're
phone
like,
or-
oh, she got more ass than me, and whatever. You're like, yeah, jealousy can grow.
Exactly, and it's not something that could last for a long time either, like realistically.
Have you ever like officially had FWB?
Not really, no. I mean, I've had one girl who, well, I wouldn't say we were friends with benefits, like I was with her. I think she was like, kind of treat me like I was a friend with benefit, I suppose. It's like, one day, like I was like, texting or whatever, she just like kind of texted me saying, oh yeah, by the way, Sean, I'm getting married like next week.
Oh.
So,
Whoa. Whoa.
Drink to this
Yeah.
one.
Whoa,
Okay.
whoa, whoa.
Oh,
shout out to, I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say
Alright,
that.
how about you guys? You ever had it like friends with benefits?
Alright, yeah.
Official friends with benefits.
Yeah, I think so because alright, I'll tell you the story and you tell me if it's friends with benefits. Like I met this guy on Bumble.
Mm.
We went out and he wanted me to move in, but he didn't define the relationship. So I don't know if we're together or not. So I classified it in my mind as friends with benefits.
Can I stop you right there?
Yeah.
There's no way it's a friend with benefits because there's no way a friend with benefits would be like, yo, let's move in. Let's
Yeah,
move.
I think that's so
That's
unlikely.
Well,
Maybe
it's not a friends with benefits then.
Yeah, it's
maybe it just means he didn't like communicate verbally as to what you guys were, because to move in with someone, I think it's quite like, I don't know, a later stage.
But this
in the
was like
relationship.
a week after we started talking.
There's two things. Either he falls in love really quickly or he has financial problems and he wants to move in with you.
Oh no, he had money, so he was like, come to my place.
Then he moves really quickly in a relationship.
I think
after
so
a
too.
week.
That's crazy.
After a while, I figured that out. Yeah,
that's
I won't
crazy.
tell you that story, but I figured that out too.
You don't think you're gonna escape from
Escape
this?
this question.
Good question.
Have
Friends
you
with
ever had
benefits.
friends with benefits?
Definitely, but I don't think you put a label on it from the outset. It just happens.
That's what I
And
think.
then-
No, I mean like on official, like, listen, we're not going to be in a relationship, but we're both like going to like.
Oh, definitely.
Sure.
So, like, if it's a casual thing and you're both attracted on a physical level to each other, then I think that's okay. And to be honest, I've never set like strict boundaries or rules. But if you're a good and decent human being, you're going to automatically have those in place. So if you're together, you're not going to be like messaging other people, or you're not wanting to do anything that's going to arouse jealousy in the other person. So I guess like rules are important, but I don't know.
But this touched on another point where I think it's important. Like,
Yeah.
let's say you're attracted to someone physically, but you don't know them personally, right? How do you like take it slow to get to know that person more? Like, what
That's
would you
hard.
do? Yeah. For me, I'm at my point. Like, for me, if I'm trying to take it slow with someone, and I would just never have any like sexual conversations with her. at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So like, yeah, that's one
Yeah.
way I do it. Like, I want to hear you guys' thoughts.
Yeah, I guess like just get to know them as a person, just to try to build connection. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because you don't just see them as like just as a sex object. Like you want to get to know them as a person. Like
I'm not saying that it's not important.
of course that part is also important. But like, I think to get to know them as a person is the main.
You definitely
know,
do
like,
need to
kind of-
show that you
Like,
think that they
yeah.
are attractive, but at the same time,
Yeah,
it's
get to
gonna be
know their-
organic, and like you're gonna
Yeah.
build that.
Get to know what they like, who they are, like like what their history is, and what their dreams are, what their goals are, and if they align with yours, and
Okay.
I think that's the main thing.
I like that. I totally agree.
Yeah.
For me, I would say, okay, so eventually you're gonna spend some time with this person. It doesn't necessarily have to be at his house or at your place, but I think in those cases you have to space out the time that you spend with each other. So you went to his place last week, you had popcorn or Netflix or whatever, and then You don't have to go to his place the following week or even the week after that, because that's kind of like a girlfriend move. So I would say space out the time that you're spending together and give him what he gives you. So if he doesn't call, then you don't call. Okay. If he doesn't text, then you don't have to text.
Yeah, but the problem with that is like, alright, so there's a lot of times where like girl back in the day, girls would send me messages like, oh, you haven't spoken to me in so long, like why didn't you speak to me? And I'm like, the phone works both ways.
Yeah.
Like if you wanted to talk to me, you could talk to me. Like maybe I didn't send you a message because I didn't get that feeling from you. So like maybe that's why I did that. So like you can't just say like it's a time thing.
Yeah, nowadays there's that like stigma that you can't be the last person that messaged. Whereas like, to be honest, it doesn't matter if you send a message after you send the last message. People just perceive it as like, oh, you're being desperate or you're being needy. But it's like in your own time. If you want to talk to that person, you talk to that person. If there's nothing you can respond to, then that's also okay. Like they can also message again.
It's a good point.
It's not like being like, oh, I already messaged them and they didn't reply. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Keep it natural.
Yeah, just keep it natural.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So one more thing I think we should touch on.
Okay.
Craziest approach since you've been in Japan.
Oh.
Crazy approach from ourselves or from the other?
I think it would be more interesting if you do like crazy approach from someone to you.
Okay, so yeah, I've had one on a dating app. I think it was Bumble, and I think I might have told Janice about this. So she was like, I think she was Korean. Yeah, I hope I don't have her on Facebook. So
Okay.
don't tag me on it.
I won't tag you.
I don't want her hearing this, but like, yeah. So like she
Shout out to Janyeon.
Yeah, so she basically like we got to know each other. Like she seemed like pretty cool. Like her English wasn't great, so like it was kind of hard like texting her. But like, yeah, like she asked me like to send her like pictures of myself, like I don't know, just like random pictures.
Yeah.
And then she sent me pictures as well. And then after like we've been texting for a while, she's like, okay, so I'm investing in stocks and stuff like this, and I'm
Oh,
like,
you met the same girl?
No. But actually, that's a thing. But it was actually a thing in China here. Like girls approach you about like on dating apps about like they show you like all this interest and then they start bringing up investment ideas.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy though.
Wow.
That is a
I
crazy
didn't know that was a
approach.
thing.
I actually think it only happens to guys.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was like talking about like investing in stocks and stuff like this, and like she was like, okay, so I'll show you later how to invest in stocks.
Oh.
I'm like, well, like I don't really know you that much, so maybe we could talk about this like at a coffee shop or something. And she was like, hold on, wait there, what? You want to talk to me about investing in stocks on a date? Why would you want to ruin like such a wonderful date?
Oh, she's brilliant, bro.
She's crazy.
Yeah, no, she's brilliant. She's brilliant. She is great at manipulation.
She's just it's like literally tearing me apart. I'm like, here, hold on, girl,
I think
hold
that
on.
one's
You're the one
okay.
that brought up stocks. Like.
Yeah, I was like, hold on, look. We can talk about this, just like just when we meet up or whatever. And she's like,
Oh, that's crazy.
yeah. Now I blocked her. Needless to say, I blocked her.
I would too.
Yeah.
I would too.
Yeah.
I don't think I've had any crazy approaches. since
Like
I've
no
been
one's
here.
ever come up to me and like said anything weird.
No?
Neither.
What?
No, you get some. Okay, so another topic I wanted to bring up, but you get these approaches here, and you try to justify them as cultural differences, but in reality, it's just plain weird. So things that in the past that I've experienced here, I've let slide. I'm like, oh, that's just the way things are here, the way that they perceive sex, and the way that they perceive, like, this is what's appealing to them. But I think you've got to be careful when you're trying to look at cultural differences and your values and your ideas about relationships and sex, because sometimes
It's just weirdness.
it's just weird. Or they think they can get away with it because you're foreign, so they think they can say these kinds of things. So I don't know, like some things that have happened here in the past, back home, I would never let that fly. But here I would just laugh it off and be like, oh yeah, like, you know, that's just Japanese
That's interesting.
relationship culture.
And that's why I haven't dated any Japanese guys.
I think one thing we should point out is like Japanese people aren't a monolith. We love to say like, oh, culturally this is how Japanese people do it, but like everyone does their thing differently. So that dude or those dudes are probably just weirdos, and that's why they did it like that.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's a blanket
Yeah,
statement, but a lot of
I get that,
situations.
but I just want to point it out to everyone.
Yeah,
Like,
for
that's
sure.
a good point.
For sure. It's
So-
just like
Great discussion.
Yeah, I think that was a great discussion,
Yes.
guys. Don't date the creepers. Yeah.
and so
yeah.
Yeah, I had a good time, you know, talking about this topic. Yeah, it was a very good discussion, and I learned a lot from it. So yeah, thanks very much.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm the best one to give advice, but I definitely have experienced a fair bit out here. So yeah,
Yeah.
it was nice sharing.
Good point. Final word?
Yeah. Anyways.
Shout out to Trudy.
Trudy. Okay, hey.
Alright, good job, guys.
Okay, thank you guys for watching, and until next time. See you guys. Bye.
Bye guys.
Sayonara.
Bye.